The cryptographic life cycle. Cryptographic keys have a life. They're strong, weakened, or broken. And so we'll talk a little bit about each of those areas. Understand that cryptographic keys have a useful life. As computational power increases, as theoretical attacks become real, actual attacks, cryptographic keys, cryptographic algorithms, cryptographic systems really can be compromised. And so as the computational power increases, as these attacks become more real, if you are an owner of a cryptographic system, you really should be continuously evaluating them to make sure that they still meet your security requirements as they were originally designed. If you're using encryption and you're using certain protocols or certain encryption methods, you want to make sure that those methods are still secure. Now is when you first implemented them. Maybe that was last year, maybe it was 10 years ago. But making sure that all of those validations still pass. Cryptographic keys and algorithms become ineffective when you've got attacks against the hashing functions, where you've got collisions that can be reliably reproduced, as we saw a couple years ago with MD5 hashing. There are ways to circumvent the hashing function and produce an equivalent hash value for a given input. And there are side channel attacks that go along with that as well. And it also can become ineffective when you've got attacks against the encryption cipher themselves. When you can take the cipher and decode it without access to the original key, or when that could be, when information could be disclosed. There are all sorts of old encryption methods or ciphers that have been kicked by the wayside. DES was one from a few years ago. SSL version 3 will finally kick the bucket, if you will, about 6 months ago or a year ago. And so we're starting to see that even encryption methods that we thought were secure and safe, maybe they're not as secure and safe as we thought they were. With that exponential increase in computational power, we're finding that encryption methods can be broken. And therefore, cryptographic systems have a useful life. That life cycle really is 3 steps. There's a begins cryptographic methods start in the strong life cycle phase. Here, there are no known or theoretical attacks against it. Therefore, the encryption method is strong. Things like SHA-256 from a hashing algorithm standpoint, or AES from a cipher perspective. Generally, these are considered in the strong phase. Weakened, this is when theoretical attacks may be possible, or an actual attack would require such an unreasonably large amount of computational power that it's just not feasible for anybody but other than perhaps a 3-letter agency to be able to crack that encryption. And so you've got now one tier down, weakened encryption or cryptographic methods, before finally it becomes compromised. And this is where you've got actual attacks against the hashing algorithms or against the ciphers themselves. Examples would be MD5 and DES standard. All of these things have been compromised to a certain degree, and so if you're using them now, the methods to compromise those encryption methods are well known, and you should stop using them.